Hi, my name is Sophia Lombardo, and today I'm going to be talking about the bad habit of nail biting. So, when I first noticed the habit of nail biting, I was sitting in class in middle school, and while we were reading, I would occasionally look around and glance because I'd get bored. Not what you're supposed to be doing, but I'd notice people sitting there chewing on their nails and biting their nails. And I honestly still continue to notice it to this day, like whether I'm having a conversation with someone, sometimes they'll be sitting there biting their nails while they're talking, or even in my college classes I still notice people sitting there biting their nails. And I used to bite them too. This was more of a bad habit when I was younger. So I would say kindergarten, middle school, I used to have the really bad habit of nail biting. So I never really used to notice it on myself, but I could always notice it on other people now, like when I'm talking to them and in previous experiences. So as a nursing student, I learned how bad nail biting can be and how it can impact our overall health and not just our hygiene. So I hope to make you aware of the problems of nail biting and convince you to change it by understanding its health consequences and how to break the bad habit. So first, I'm going to explain the problem of nail biting. So nail biting is a repetitive behavior where people chew on their nails, or the skin around the nails along with it, and usually this is done without realizing it. So according to the article, Is Biting My Nails Really That Bad? It says that the habit can start during childhood and continue through adulthood, especially during periods of stress or boredom. The article also explains the more you put your fingers in your mouth, you expose your body to bacteria, viruses, and fungi that live under your nails and on your hands. Also, according to UCLA Health, nail biting is a form of body-focused repetitive behavior which is often tied to anxiety or perfectionism, and it can lead to chronic nail damage and also jaw problems, which I thought is crazy. I never knew that before. And a writer from Hackensack Meridian Health also noted that nail biting may seem minor, but it can quickly become a compulsive behavior that is hard to stop. So this habit of nail biting can happen anywhere. Oftentimes I see it happen in school or in places where people are nervous or bored, or a lot of times where there's something really nerve-wracking going on, and it can happen for as long as a few minutes to an hour. People do it all different sorts of times until they're satisfied with chewing their nails, or maybe they leave the anxious or nervous or bored situation. So people of all ages can bite their nails. Like I said, I've seen people in kindergarten, middle school, and college still do it, as well as some adults I still see do it. But it's fairly common in teens and young adults. So next, I will be examining the impact of nail biting on our lives. So nail biting has both physical and emotional consequences that people don't realize. So according to Harvard Health Publishing, one of the biggest dangers is introducing bacteria from nails into your mouth, which can lead to infections, which involve painful swelling around the nails and a bunch of other ones. So UCLA Health also explains that it can cause permanent damage to the nail beds, gums, and teeth. So it's really a lot of a bigger deal than we actually realized. So it's also proven that nail biting can affect your self-esteem, because if you think about it, if you see someone sitting there and you're talking to them and they're biting their nails, do they seem that confident? Probably not. And they also don't seem like they're really paying attention. They're kind of focused on something else. So people who bite their nails, how it affects their self-esteem is that usually they try and hide their nails then, because they might feel embarrassed because the skin could be damaged or the nails are probably really short. And I know for a fact this can damage self-esteem, because personally I used to feel that way and used to be ashamed of showing my nails, or I always had to have them done so people couldn't actually see what they looked like. Hackensack Meridian Health also emphasized that nail biting can affect the skin and create open wounds, which can increase the risk of infection. So although some people argue that it's just a tactic to relieve stress, its long-term effects and illnesses that come with it show that the habit does more harm than good. So the worst thing about the whole thing is that most of the time people don't even realize they're doing it. And that was one of the hardest factors for me when I was trying to quit, because half the time I did not even know I was doing it. And my mom would be like, "Hey, Sophia, stop." And I had no idea. So that's definitely one of the hardest factors when trying to quit, and that's found to be a big issue for a lot of people when they're trying to quit as well. So finally, I'm going to talk about some ways we can stop the habit of nail biting. So, like I said before, nail biting may seem like a small issue, but it can seriously impact your health and your confidence. So, according to UCLA Health, using physical barriers such as gloves or wrapping your fingers in band-aids, I used to do this before, also bitter tasting nail polish, I tried. Um, this can help you stop biting your nails, and personally for me, the nail polish and the band-aids both worked. It's just whatever works for you, and also what's the easiest and most convenient. Harvard Health Publishing suggests that identifying your triggers, such as stress or boredom, like I said was one of my issues, can also help you to develop an alternative coping mechanism other than biting your nails. So this includes using fidget toys, journaling, deep breathing, or trying to stay focused on what's happening at the time instead of biting your nails. So personally, like I said before, bitter nail polish and the band-aids helped me a lot. I also use things like trying to focus in the moment, like I said, may help other people. Those things really helped me. And these small changes can make such a big difference, and especially for students or professionals who want to maintain a healthy and confident appearance. Because as people who are, as me, like I'm in college, and others who are also in college, soon we're going to be entering the adult world, and we don't want to carry bad habits like this. Like, even though they seem very small, like it said, it makes us seem like not as confident in ourselves. And also, as a future nurse, going into like hospitals to work or just places that aren't sanitary, it's really not good to have the habit of sticking like your hands in your mouth, especially if you're touching things all day. So it's really important to get it straightened out now, and that's why I was really focused on getting it stopped for me. So like I said before, as future nurses, doctors, teachers, leaders, taking care of ourselves, starting with nail biting is very important because we're setting a standard for everyone else around us. So thank you guys for listening to me, and I hope you put a little bit of what I said into your real life. And if you bite nails, I hope this taught you some lessons on how it's really doing more harm than good, and it's something really simple that we can fix as long as we put our minds to it. So thank you.